Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of FSI DFS Major League Baseball coverage. I'm Rick Ruler 31, and finally the gang's back together here. I'm joined with McKinney 412. So we did a series of separate videos this week. It wasn't because we didn't like each other; it's just because our schedules didn't match up. But now we've got a chance to cover the early slate on Saturday. We'll be doing two videos. Well, at least one of us will be doing two videos. We'll figure that out going forward, but we're covering the early slate. There's a 7-game slate on DK that starts at 1:10 p.m. Looking it over, there's some good options here. It seems like the night slate has Coors and has some of the more stud pitchers, but I think there's some good plays here, and we'll cover them. Nice thing is there's only really one weather concern. That will be in the Cincinnati and St. Louis game. There's about anywhere from a 65 to 80% chance of rain early on, and then it should clear up at first pitch. So maybe a delay there. So there's some wind to talk about, but we have to check the weather in the morning just to make sure, or closer to game time, that nothing has changed. It looks like the wind is blowing in about 10, 12 miles per hour in LA for the Angels in Houston. It's blowing out for the Mets, for the Boston, and for the Minnesota games. So just a couple things to consider. It helps hitters a little bit. Temperatures are in the mid-range, nothing too hot, nothing frigid cold. So overall, nice day for baseball. So McKinley, what are your thoughts on pitchers today?
There's lots of good options. Like you said, there's no absolute stud pitcher that's 10K plus. But there's lots of good options, and I'm just kind of like hovering over the top here. Peralta, he's the 9.6. He's clear the top. High strikeout pitcher going against the Cubs. He's faced Chicago actually already twice this season. He's got 18 strikeouts in those two starts. But that was before the bats kind of awoke for the Cubbies here. I don't think anybody was expecting them to hit 15 plus runs out of the past
today. The
games.
Starting pitcher got hurt, so it turned into a bullpen game.
Turned into a bullpen, but still, it's like their bats have come alive. So, do you trust Peralta enough for that 9.6 price tag to mow him down a third time?
I think I do. Like at 9.6, I'm just looking at the batting averages against him this year. Chris Bryant 182, Hayward 143, Baez 200, Rizzo, Happ, and Bote in at least 7 or actually 8 to 10 plate appearances have got no hits against them. So I don't think they figured it out that quickly.
Not that quickly. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't decided who I want to be in my cash lines here, just because I think there are a lot of good options. So you got Peralta there. It is risky. I think it's riskier just because of those Chicago bats. But moving on down, like Eovaldi, he's right below him. He's 8.9, second most. He's had a really great start to the season as well. He's shut down the White Sox bats, the Twins, the Tampa Bay. He's got great command so far. He's only got 4 walks in the entire season, none in the past 2 games. So I think he's a decent option there. Hasn't allowed a single home run, and that's saying something considering the bats that he has faced. Strowman, another solid option. He's going against
Washington with a 0.9 ERA or something like that.
Yeah, 0.9 ERA. He's going against Washington. Washington hasn't scored more than 6 runs in the entire season in a single game.
They're at best an average team without Soto in that lineup. They're just, they picked up Schwarber this year, but like he's strikeout prone. I thought with Josh Bell and Harrison entering in there too, that this would be a formidable lineup, and they look good during the preseason and spring training, but I just doesn't really
not so much anymore though.
Just Trey Turner pretty much, but still, like after the injury, he just hasn't been the same. I think it was a wrist injury, wasn't it? So
Boston made Carlos Martinez, or Washington, they made Carlos Martinez look good the other day, which that's laughable. So
you dislike Strowman, him as much as I like Pivetta.
Yeah. So Strowman, I like him more than Eovaldi. But the thing you got to worry about Strowman is that he doesn't really have any K upside. He's never been a high strikeout pitcher in his career.
True.
So don't be expecting like an 8 strikeout game. I play him more for cash than GPP.
Yeah, if he gets 6 and he makes it 7 innings and gets the win, then I'll
Oh
take
yeah,
it.
absolutely, absolutely. Pineda, he's the other guy that's kind of on my radar. Those are kind of the 4 that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
3 is top. Wade Miley, I don't care about.
No.
Pineda, he shut down Boston, which nobody was really expecting. I know he was in the GPP line of yours,
I think
but
once he got away from New York and like all the pressure of like pitching there and for that team, I think he's really come into like his own there and really has matured and has become a decent pitcher. Not a top tier guy, but I think he's that second level of decency.
yeah. And if you want a cheap guy, kind of right at the bottom, 6.5K, Brady Singer for the Royals, going up against a bottom 5 offense in Detroit in just
Top two
pretty
with
much
Bryce
every
Wilson.
single statistical category. So like Singer, he has the K potential. He's had a short career, obviously. We're not talking a large sample size here, but there's been a K per inning pitcher so far. I don't really think you need the savings here, but if you want to combine 2 like really expensive bats, you definitely can do it. If you put in Singer and a guy like Pineda,
Right.
you're going to be sitting with a lot of salary left over.
Yeah, I think I figured like when I plugged my 2 pitchers in, I had like 4K per batter, which is awesome.
Yeah, a Singer Pineda, you're going to leave 4.4 average
That's
for your
awesome.
batters. So you can really load up your bats there. Other than that, do you have any interest in any of the other pitchers on the slate at all?
No, like I said in my last video, I love flexing, but I loved when I played him in KBO stacking against him because that was always good. Uh, Boyd's okay, but I'm liking the Casey offense better there. The weather game, Cincinnati, St. Louis not going to touch. Cahill's not a good pitcher either. LA's add Burt, whoever the Chicago pitcher is. Not enough data there yet. Joe Ross, no, and I don't think we really want to touch the LA game with the wind blowing out. And actually, the wind's blowing in there, but still.
I mean, I just don't want to touch that game because of the
Yeah.
offenses. Like,
Well, I don't know. Trout sat out today. He's kind of banged up. Like Odorizzi, maybe. I mean, but then again, I think the top 4 is where we need to go. Let's just not get cute on the slate. I think with the 4 we talked about Singer for some savings, I think that's definitely where we need to be.
yeah, don't play Odorizzi, please don't.
I'm gonna do it just in one lineup, just
to smite me. Yeah, okay. Joey Votto, he's gonna be on the cover in the next video.
It's we're playing a head-to-head, and you take Votto, and I'll take Odorizzi. We'll see.
All right, we'll wait for a slate for that to happen, and we'll do it.
It's a slate.
Oh, we can just do it this slate. This is
Yes.
perfect. All right. you send me the invite.
Okay.
Let's turn to bats here. Who are you liking for bats?
Well, I really like Kansas City. I think they're going to be low on. I think Boston is probably going to be the chalk against Flexen. They seem to finally be putting it together. Not all of them, but most of them. And I think JD Xander are doing really well. He's a righty, but I think he's an equal opportunity. Kind of like Matt Harvey going up to lefties and righties. So obviously, the lefties would be preferred. So we're looking at like Devers and Marwin Gonzalez as switch hitter. Maybe he'll move up a little bit in the lineup and Verdugo, but I think you can still play Kiki and JD. Still, Frenchie Cordero hasn't been bad either. He's been cheap, and even though he's sitting down the bottom, he usually makes value.
Yeah, I'm actually on the righties of Boston here. If you dive even deeper into Flexen's career stats, 200 at bats for righties, and the righty at bats are hitting 350 against him.
Okay.
So not a small sample size at all. We're talking a couple hundred here, and they're still hitting 350 against him. So I'm gonna be all with guys like Xander, JD, Kiki, Vasquez, and they're pricey. Like they're 5'6", 5'6", 5'4", or something. But like I said, you're not paying for the 5-figure pitcher this slate, so you can definitely jam them in.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe we'll get
lefties.
Renfro again if they know that he's not really good against the. He's not in the projected lineup, but I could see him popping in there. He's in there today.
Yeah. So, I mean, lefties are hitting 291 against him in just as many at bats. So really, he just gets hit hard
Yeah.
by everybody. So I think Boston's going to be popular, but I'm totally right there with you with Kansas City. I think
Yeah.
Kansas City's
You want
going
to
to
hear a
be
stat?
lower. I'd love to. I love
Okay.
stats.
Whit Merrifield, against Boyd, he's had 48 at bats against him. He has 25 hits, 10 extra base hits. Now, it's not a power thing, it's just a contact thing. 8 RBIs. He's hitting 521. Benintendi might, if he's in the lineup, he might be down a little bit lower, lefty and lefty, but he's still hitting 400 against him. Solaire's hitting 333 against him, and Dozier is hitting 476 against him. So, I mean, there's
Wow.
definitely, I don't think this is going to be a power game where you're going to see a lot of home runs, but I know like one of your favorite teams, if you've mentioned recently, St. Louis, where, their runs just keep on adding up. I think that's going to be a case like this. I think they might score 7 runs there, but it's going to be a combination of all the guys like hitting one another in, and those points add up fast.
Yeah, for sure. And Boyd, he's pitched well so far this season. He's got 3 solid starts to start the year. But I mean, we have 6 years of data on this guy, and he's terrible. Well,
And the
maybe not
bullpen's bad
terrible. I wouldn't
too.
go that far. He's not a good pitcher though. So
But
I
then you get
think
the bullpen.
yeah, but then you get the bullpen once they chase Boyd out, which is arguably the worst in the league. So I think Casey's in a phenomenal spot. I think they're going to go lower owned, especially because their prices are also up there. I mean, you got Perez at 5.5, Whit Merrifield 5.4.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to pay up for those guys, or do you want to pay up for the Boston Bats, who are probably be a lot more owned, just name recognition wise, even? So I think Casey's going to be a great GPP play. Third team that I'm interested on at this moment are the Mets. I think they're just another great option. Are they going to be Chicago 2.0? Who knows? Like it's a great offense that just cannot seem to get it together. Especially this past week, I think they're only averaging like 2 or 3 runs this entire past week here. So like their ownership is just dropping every slate that they play. And so you kind of want to be on it before everybody else when they do finally start to hit stride, which we know they will. This is not a bad offense here. So going against Ross, he has the blow up potential. He just let up 10 runs in 4 innings. So the blow up potential is there. I'll be taking some Mets and some GPP plays here to make things interesting.
I just wonder, like the pitching coach for Washington, Scherzer's okay. Yeah, obviously, Strasburg's hurt now, but it seems like all the other guys on Boston have control issues. Like Corbin, Ross, they just walk. They can't find the plate. I just don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, Ron Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I tripped you up with Boston, Washington earlier. Now you're getting tripped up with it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, Casey, Boston, and the Mets. The Mets more of a GPP play than anything. So just kind of recap everything here. Pitching pretty straightforward here. Guys at the top: Peralta, Eovaldi, Strowman. No interest in Miley. We like Pineda as well. If you really want to go cheap at pitcher, even cheaper than what they are, you can put in Brady Singer for Kansas City going against a weak Detroit team. He's got some decent K potential. And as far as bats, Boston, KC, and the Mets. Obviously, make sure you're watching out for weather. Make sure you're watching also for COVID. We have had a game, it was just last weekend with Minnesota. The game itself got postponed after the original slate lock did. So there's some scrambling that needs to be done. So make sure you're paying attention to all the news that's going on, as well as hitters that are being pulled out kind of close to game time as well here. So
yeah, we had Brad Miller from scratch tonight after lock. So yeah, there are a couple other hitting opportunities too out there too. I think Minnesota against Cahill is is tempting, and you keep on saying play St. Louis at least in one lineup, like not your cash, but at least, you know, unless they're in a great matchup. But Miley's not a great pitcher. If the weather's okay there, you know, throw it in $1 GPP. They'll do nothing and you lose $1, or they'll score a lot of runs and you might make some money. So
Yeah, I think what was the stat I had? I'm trying to look it up here. It was at least 8. I don't know what's continuing. It might be at 9 right now, but it was like 9 straight games where they've either scored 2 or less or 9 or more runs. Like there was no in between there. So they're an all or nothing. So absolutely. I did that tonight. I have all of them at 1% ownership in my GPP. So a team that is able to hit up double digits on any night, 1%, I'll take them.
Yep. We didn't touch on LA and Houston, but I think if pieces one-offs there or stack them, I don't think that you have to try to jam them in. You've got some good hitters. You've got some decent pitchers. Like I said, the wind is blowing in there currently, so I don't see as much power. It all depends if Trout's in that lineup too. That changes the dynamic of it with the production and everything up top. The bottom of both lineups are a little sketchy, so you know, do what you want there. It's not a huge slate, so they're definitely in consideration. Like tonight with the 14 gamer, you know, you'd probably just cross it right off and just move on. But you know, see what happens if you need them, if they fit in your lineup, last man in, good with it. But I don't try to jam them, and it's my opinion.
Yep. Yeah. With Rendon out for LA, and like you said, possibly Trout, I don't have as much interest, but Odorizzi.
They lost their shortstop too, didn't they? Not Fletcher, but there's another guy they're missing too from that team. So
Iglesias?
Yeah.
He's playing.
He is? No, not Iglesias. There's can't think of his name. I'll have to look it up. But it's not important right now.
Not important.
It'll come to me with, like, you know, in the middle of the night, I'll be like sound asleep and I'll just wake up and burst out his name. The house will be like, who?
Scare the kids.
Well, I think that kind of wraps things up then.
Yep.
I think we got a good breakdown. So again, we will put together another video covering the evening slate tonight. And, you know, unfortunately, there's probably one of the best pitchers of the day. I think Eric Cole's at like 6'10", who falls in between the slates. So you might get him on Showdown if you're playing all day or something like that. But, you know, that's how it goes. They move some of those East Coast games earlier to 6 o'clock to be more family friendly. So, okay. Well, thank you everybody for watching. I'm MegaRuler31. You can find me on Twitter, and you can find McKinley at
McKinley_412.
You got that fancy underscore. But anyways, you can also drop a comment here, and we'll try to do what we can to get back to you. Check out through the day if there's any news or anything. We'll drop in the comments too to try to help you out, and that's what we're here for. FSSI DFS. So appreciate you watching. Give us a like, subscribe to the channel so you'll know when our videos are dropping, and check out all the other free content that we have out there. We have soccer, NHL, NBA. I think there's M&A this week. We got PGA, all kinds of different things. So appreciate you watching, and until next time, good luck.